Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the AIA and Vietcetera Digital Transformation Series webinar. Today, we'll be discussing we'll be shaping the future in the digital age through what we call the digital advantage and transformation. We have Bill, who is the CTO of AIA Vietnam. We have Jan Rousselot-Pailley, who is the Director of Digital Innovation at KPMG in Vietnam. And then we also have Mark Moraski. He's the CTO at ZaloPay. We're going to start with our friend here, Bill at AIA. AIA, as I assumed correctly, partners to build ecosystems. With that said, what are some of the top partnership highlights that you have built over the years that help AIA innovate faster?
Come to your question, I think that to build up the ecosystem, you need different kind of partners. It depends on the field of the expansion. Digital transformation comes with a lot of mindset shift and the way people interact, especially on the process. We are not doing digital transformation based on the current practice. We are doing in regard to how you see yourself over the next 3 to 5 years. As you may know already, we have a partnership with TK, which is one of the top 3 e-commerce platforms in Vietnam to provide the service and product directly to the consumer.
KPMG, Jan, again, the Director of Digital Innovation, partnering with a lot of companies, including AIA. Jan, first question for you. Does your team advise to partner or to build their own ecosystems? And what would you say is the pros and cons of each? And perhaps you can use some examples if you're able to share.
Innovation is not R&D. R&D is to transform money into new knowledge. But innovation is to transform new knowledge into value, into money. So it's exactly the opposite. So when you are talking about innovation, what you are trying to do actually is to make a new process, a new product, a new service being adopted by the market, by the customer. This is innovation. R&D is different. R&D is introducing a new technology, for instance, adopting new behaviors, customers' behaviors. This is the most challenging part. Making the mindset shift, this is absolutely different. And this is exactly why Bill's team brought us into this. Not because we are more innovative than FPT software, for instance, but we have the techniques to make the people mindset to shift, to adopt. It actually doesn't matter if you will have to partner or if you will to have your own ecosystem. At the end of the day, it's the people that will be there. So if the people that are the right people to adopt innovation or to make adopting innovation by your customers are inside your organization, good for you, build inside. But if you need someone else or you are targeting another market, you are targeting another segment of the customer segment, and someone is more knowledgeable about it or is already building a community, go with a partnership. So it's not about technology, actually. It's about people. So to push people in the direction that you want, the desirable future that you want, it's actually a more social science than a technological science, you see. This is what we did at AIA, and the CCO, Wanda and Bill working hand in hand, CCO and CTO, making sure that this digital transformation will not be only a digitalization.
Next up, we've got Mark, again, CTO of ZaloPay. Thank you for joining, Mark. The larger Zalo VNG ecosystem is quite significant. It has everything from cloud to chat, media. How has ZaloPay benefited directly as a result of this ecosystem that you guys have?
We get the benefit of both kind of people that have been there and done it, right? So whether it's scale of systems like Zalo, whether it's new technologies, new incubators that are happening, we get to be partners with a group of people that are either thinking about the problem or have solved it in some cases, right? So there's a lot of value for us.
What are your top criteria, especially as CTO, when it comes to bringing partners into an ecosystem?
2 or 3 top priorities that I would say is technology side. So we need to put technology first. The second point is the customer experience. The experience of the users will coming from one platform to another platform. So how we can match it, make it a seamless experience for the customer. And lastly, I think one of the most important one I would say is how do you add value getting this partner into your ecosystem? Maybe we have title of CTO, but most likely most of us here is doing business, not only doing the technology side.
Jan, next question for you. Can you highlight an example study of a larger business that's adopted an ecosystem approach and what advantages came as a result?
But I would like to give you the example of a company who recently did change its way to operate this ecosystem. It's Airbus, the plane company. This is very interesting because for a long time they did looking for ideas. Now they are looking for user desires. And this is totally different. When you put the user at the center of your conception, and when you even think that the user becomes the conceptor of your future product, everything is simpler.
ZaloPay is also leveraging the Zalo ecosystem, which has a ton of customers, millions. Mark, my question for you is, what are those key differentiators? I mean, we know it is the community, but how has that really supported ZaloPay's kind of mission as opposed to other e-wallet providers?
To be digitally transformed, you absolutely have to be customer-centric, right? It is at the core of anything that we do. You can't take an old business process and just digitalize it and expect it to work, to what you want. And so as we look at our ecosystem, right, what we essentially have with Zalo as a differentiator is a marketplace, right? So you've got buyers and sellers now. So your sellers maybe are on the e-commerce platforms that we're partnering with, again, a partner ecosystem. You've got banks, again, partner ecosystem, right? You've got people, you got groups of people that have needs. So as we look at between Zalo with the needs of the users in Zalo and that platform and how they're growing and their specific plans and the things that we can do to be a broker between buyers and sellers, we start to solve things that are very important for customers. We're able to actually make a real difference. And we believe it is a competitive advantage for us in the environment.
Bill, what kind of growth opportunities have become very apparent for AIA as a result of these innovations that have been going on?
One of the most important innovation what we did is what we call the remote sales tools platform that we provide to our agent and customer during the COVID happening. So this means that during the lockdown, which is very hard for in Vietnam, nearly all of the country, all of the business was shutting down, and we couldn't have a face-to-face with the customer. In our business, this is something that is crazy. This is a growth for me. It was a growth opportunity because the business was shutting down. There's a lot of downside from the business, but with the tools, with the process that we put in place, we still provide service to our customer. We still have business and opportunities and contact with the customer. When you have the readiness of technology, when you have the readiness of the people, when this is ready, one of the key components that we get outside is the much more faster decision making as well. A lot of expectation, a lot of things from the customer side are changing. Technology is always evolving. Customer is changing. So to be able to have this kind of growth opportunities, you should be ready first.
Jan, when you guys are working with these larger kind of ecosystems and partners, do you guys determine like the growth metric that you want to really go for, or do you kind of reverse engineer it? Do you kind of go through the process first and then determine something that's feasible? How does that work for you guys?
We sit with the people that are part of our ecosystem, and we try to imagine the future. And from this point, when we have the cone of plausibility, we go to the smallest part, possible things that we want to happen. And when we have a scenario that we know we want to happen, we as you said, retro-engineer what would have happened to make this future to happen. And eventually you will discover that there is two things, actors and variables. So those two can be actually predicted. So if altogether we say this is the future we want, and slowly you define all those variables, and you have some strategy to make the actors to align on your happy path, suddenly the number of workaround that you will have to put during your innovation management process will be less. And each time you do a loop in your innovation management process, each time you're wasting time, wasting money, and losing your competitive advantage. So reducing the gap between what you want to do and where do you start is actually the best way to reach it faster. And reach it faster means that you have more chance of adoption. And to your question, where to start this is as soon as possible. You have to start this at the highest level of the organization, because to make this kind of a strategy to percolate to your people, including the people that will be affected, and even maybe will have to change their job, being upskilled because of this strategy. As soon as they have it in hand, you have to give them enough time to digest this change coming, to understand why we are doing it, how will be their new life in this new reality, in this future that you desire. So you have to make sure that you have an alignment of the actors that will make this future happen, including your employees, including your future customers, including your existing customers. So all this is actually extremely important.
Mark, we've got questions, more centered on, growth opportunities at ZaloPay. I'm sure you've had some wins and losses there, I guess you could say. I'd love to hear from you specific initiatives that perhaps have been done recently at ZaloPay that have been very fruitful. And second question there too is, have external initiatives worked for, growing the user base for ZaloPay?
Our ultimate job as a product company is to solve the problem of our customers, right? Like if you're solving their problems, you're going to get their business. In two areas specifically that we see a lot of growth, super fast uptick in Vietnam, right? One is paying your mobile, topping up your mobile device. With ZaloPay, you can go and top up your wallet, use your wallet balance to top up, and in some cases get some incentives for that, some loyalty and things like that. And also billing, right? Like reoccurring billing and bills that come to you, getting a reminder to pay your bill. When it comes to the overall ecosystem, when you think about acquisition, right? In some cases, those are good acquiring use cases, and maybe potentially you can market to people about that. But really, it's the partner ecosystem around ZaloPay that really helps us acquire users as well.
Thank you so much for joining the third of 4 webinar series with AIA and Vietcetera. We look forward to welcoming you on the next one. And thank you so much, Bill, Jan, and Mark.